Yup. Okay. Here's one. Skip Bayless. Y'all know him?
Yes,
Yeah, man, that dude's
Okay.
a buffoon.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna actually say he might be on to something with this statement that he made yesterday. So here's what Skip Bayless said. I'm not gonna play the audio. He said on Thursday that white NFL owners don't hire black head coaches because they're not comfortable with the quote need to interact socially, such as dinner with the wives. He went on to say that NFL head coach hiring decisions, he said this on Undisputed, he said that why can't hot black assistant coaches get head coaching jobs? Well, they are hot, and when they should be right on the schedule to get a job. So what he's saying is that the white owners are threatened by the sexiness. And as he said that, I thought about all of the head coaches that have been black. I was thinking about Lovie Smith. Yeah, not very hot. Who's the one that actually won with Peyton? And I like him. He's a nice Tony Dungy, who's a little problem, a little over the top with his hyper white Christian nationalism that he practices. Man. But he's a nice man. I met him and he and his wife where I interviewed them. They're nice people. Not sexy, not threatening. I was thinking, who's sexy? And I'm looking at Bieniemy. Is that how you say his name? Eric Bieniemy.
He's a bro too. Shout out to the Qs again.
Right. Is he? Okay, I didn't know that. But, he just won with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was their offensive coordinator. He is the reason why Patrick Mahomes is so great. And he's not necessarily, being hired. But then I looked at a picture of him and I think about Art Shell and I think about, they have picked non-sexy, threatening. What? The only sexy coach that I can recall is Herm Edwards. That's the only one. And then he got in and out real quick. They didn't keep him too long. He's the sexiest black head coach I've ever seen in the NFL. I was like, Skip might be on to something. So these guys, and then I think about who's the one that lost his team? Donald Sterling. Didn't he tell the woman stay away from those? And I know it was very racist, but it was also like you being around them Nephilim, them big black, sexy black men.
What will happen? You'll get yourself Ime Udoka out of here.
As he would say, them big black bucks. Them bucks walking around with their shirts off, sweating and picking stuff up. Broken clock is wrong. It's right twice a day. So I think that's always an element. There's always a sexual element involved. And if you're a little twerpy, mediocre, halfway kind of white dude, you don't want that strutting around your house. Why would you want that? It sounds.
Wait a minute. What? So I'm. Hervé, you were in the NFL for a couple of years, right? You played for the Buffalo Bills. We've talked about this off mic, on mic. How much interaction do these coaches have with the owners?
So I would say, I don't know, as a player, there's like classes, so it is like a caste system in the NFL, right? So, you got players, you got the front office, you got the owners, right? So as a player, you don't really mess with the owners that much. You're not in those rooms, right? And then, so I know as a player, you see them at you see the owner's wife, for example, at certain big events. That's it, right? But I think in the front office, they do a little bit more. They do some of their community events and some of their other outside business things where they want to parade the coach out there to do some of these things, right? So, it is true. We all know that our presence, the black man's presence, intelligent, confident, competent, is threatening to a lot of people. Skip Bayless being the Morton Downey Jr. of sports talk radio, I'm not a big fan of it because he's really the epitome of a mediocre mofo getting far by hating, and hating on predominantly black men, right? That's his thing, right? So I think the ultimate part of it comes to we don't conform sometimes, and you don't want they don't like us celebrating, right? These are little things like, why y'all dancing like that? When Mark Gastineau was dancing way back in the day, they was like, oh, Mark Gastineau is sack dance. This is the bomb, right? But as soon as brothers come out and celebrating, they're like, whoa, we got to throw a flag. Y'all can't be doing this. And I think it's the expression our willingness to express and be our own selves, they really like us to conform. And then you get a non-conformer that close to power.
Let me
it's
ask
scary.
you something. Let me ask you something. So, but let's talk about this in terms of the programming, racial programming from the inception of bringing big black bucks across the water. It's always that's always a fear. I mean, even if you talk about the large penis, I wouldn't say it's a myth. But I mean that whole over sexualizing of black men is always the case, and so we're talking. So we're watching the 1619 Project, and we're talking about the movement and culture and how this is still the case now. I don't even think it's a question. He's absolutely right. No twerpy little white dude don't want no big black dude around him.
Yeah, it makes them insecure.
So how do I? To Dante's point, as I was reading this, I said, this is the crux of everything that's wrong with this country, right? So Birth of a Nation, D.W. Griffith was all about the fear of black men rape. And they were using rape, but they knew it wasn't about rape. It was the fear that they couldn't compete if all things were equal. Because even their women, and we're seeing it play out in the NFL, you know, Patrick Mahomes, all of it. You talked about Karl Malone, like all of the black athletes, a lot of them have the white women. When you see the the NFL draft, there was the one recently where the mama was like, get this chick up out of the camera because she was standing huddled up to the guy. And it's like, I covered for a minute the NBA, as I mentioned, I've been to several All-Star games. In the hotel lobby, it's very disturbing.
Is it just like a blizzard? Is it a blizzard of snow bunnies?
Is it a blizzard? From all right. So having played from early on, I can tell you the truth. Like from the moment I got good at football, like people were like, "Hey, this dude is kind of good." Life changed for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like people started treating me better. Teachers was nicer, and the girls was nicer. Real talk. They were like, "Hey, it's you." I'm like, "Oh, yes, it is me." I didn't know I was a me until you said I was a me.
Hervé's nickname is the snowplow.
So then, once that starts happening, you get to college, it's a different game because they level up. So my experience, I'll be honest with my experience, you get to college, the white girls are really interested. Like they'll come to you and they'll talk to you about the game. They'll be like, "Yo, that was a great game. Third quarter, you did this, blah, 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 blah." You'd be like, "What?" They'd be like, "Yeah, I've been watching you." They will do that. And they will come up to you. You go to the bars, you go out, hang out, and they be like, "You don't pay here. You're straight. Whatever you want is on the house." Real talk. And then at the end of the night, it's not like, who do you want? You be like, how many do you want, right? Like, what do you got the power for, big boy? You know what I'm saying? And so you get a lifestyle. This is what I mentioned earlier. You do get accustomed, and it is a juicy lifestyle. I am the man, right? I get everything I want, and look at all this stuff. And I'll do other things for you. You can get your grades, your papers done. You can do a lot of stuff. So now you're moving up. These people are feeding you and taking care of you and doing everything for you, right? Like, of course, you're going to wind up with that because you're really kind of being groomed in a sense because all this stuff is being done and given to you and you feel good.
At the same time, society is saying you're a problem, right? So it's very 866-801-8255. Craziest offer you ever got, Hervé, when you were in the NFL from a woman? Yes.
The craziest offer? All right, so I will say the craziest offer was I think it was three. It was three women at once. So it was her and her friends. So I'll tell you the story. It was real crazy. It was one of the nights I was feeling myself. I was actually feeling myself, and I was at an event, and I had just kind of said, "Yo, y'all got me at this party. And there's no women here. Why am I standing here?" I was feeling myself that. I was like, "Yo, why am I standing here by myself?" Shorty came over and was like, "I'm sorry you feel that way. What can I do to make it better for you?" And I was like, "Well, I like women. She was like, me and my friends are right over there. We'll go home with you tonight. So we went home with her. So I was like,
all three of them, Hervé?
What are you talking about? We all three of them as if they
okay. So listen,
that's of course all three of them.
Well, I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures of you. Dante used to be a male performer. Hervé used to be a model.
Stripper's fine.
Okay,
and there's a picture of him looking like he's sitting on a throne with the smallest pair of panties on, with his legs open. Panties, because that's what they look like. Yeah, with his legs open and all of his naked chest. He was a male model. So 3 women, 3 at one time.
Listen,